Welcome to Loren Reads to You. Today we're reading The Bedtime Killer by Loren Malloy. That's me. So make sure you're subscribing or following wherever you're watching or listening to this. And if you haven't heard chapters 1 through 20 yet, you might want to pause this, save it, and go back and watch or listen to those and then come back to this. But it's up to you. If you're ready, get comfy, get cozy, and let's get into it. Chapter 21. Horace could remember the first night on the road was just smiles and pleasantries until they were a long ways away from where they had picked the woman up. Then his father claimed he needed a place to pee and eat. They pulled over on some dark, desolate highway, and his father would begin to drink. It only took a little while after that for him to become so raging drunk he began to physically be violent with the woman. The first night the ritual was done with the woman alive and complying in the hopes for kindness and survival. Young Horace kissed the woman on the forehead, then kissed her lips and said the words, "It's bedtime, baby," then backed away slowly to the wall. The woman complained about him watching, to which his father answered her by choking her while making a lot of physical contact with his little guy until she almost died from lack of oxygen. She laid still and behaved after that. It was the next night that his father decided he liked a silent, compliant woman when she tried bargaining with him instead of just taking it, and punched her so hard in the head he knocked her unconscious. Young Horace was forced to watch his father make love to his new woman while she was, as he claimed, sleeping until she woke up with him thrusting inside her. The hooker began screaming and hitting him. He pinned the woman with his legs and grabbed her head. "Nice and tight now." Horace's father twisted very hard many times until the woman's head began ripping from her neck. This time, there was blood, and it sprayed them both. Horace remembered how warm it was as it hit his skin. Father and son were now both covered in Hooker's blood. Horace's father grabbed him by the ear and pulled it to the woman's now decapitated head. "What do you say, Horace?" "It's bedtime, baby," Horace croaked. "That's it. Now give the beautiful woman a kiss so she knows you love her." His father pulled him even harder and more painfully by his ear, forcing young Horace's mouth against the woman's blood-covered forehead. Finally, when he was allowed to pull away, he could see a smeared lip mark on her forehead. He shuddered, but didn't bother trying to wipe the blood from his lips. "Now sit there and learn how to be a man." Young Horace was forced to sit there on his knees and watch his blood-covered father show his love to his new lady over and over again. First her body, then her head. Then he would repeat it over again until he no longer could perform. When he climaxed inside his new lady for the last time, he pulled out of her mouth, kissed her forehead, sighed, saying, "It's bedtime, baby." Young Horace's father rolled over and fell asleep right there on the very floor, covered in the woman's blood and his own fluid. The boy just stared at the woman's lifeless head until the sun rose. Her wide, dead eyes did something to him he couldn't understand. Night after night, his father forced them to perform the same ritual until the hooker smelled too ripe to keep. Then his father threw it out. He easily found another woman who fell for the same widowed father and young son needing a mom routine. Horace remembered his father always keeping the heads of his ladies longer than the bodies. After all, as his father put it, a hole is a hole. As long as it worked, what does it matter the location? For the next 6 years, he was repeatedly forced to do the same ritual. Horace remembered the last moment he saw his father. He was 13. He was coming back from getting the groceries his father had sent him for. His father was outside the caravan trying to con one of the local well-known prostitutes into leaving with them. It usually worked. If not a hooker, then a homeless woman or an addict would say yes. Carrying 2 bags filled with food, young Horace turned the corner to see his father being stabbed by what must have been a pimp. No regular Joe would wear that velour suit with that top hat and cane on an urban street. Horace remembered waiting to feel something, to be upset or sad, but There was nothing. Not even relief filled him. It was like he was completely incapable of feeling. After that, young Horace lived on the dirty streets of Chicago and worked odd jobs. The boy decided his father was dead, and so was his nightly routine. He just pushed it all out of his mind and worked on surviving. He was 17 when he got a job working with a landscaping crew that had a weekly paycheck. It was the second day on the job when he wound up looking into a client's bedroom window while the song Night Prowler was playing. He discovered the lady of the house was having sex with her fitness instructor. Horace watched while the instructor thrust in and out of the woman while she was crying out in pleasure. Horace got so turned on between the song and the scene before him, he had to relieve little Horace in a nearby bush. He remembered the guitar solo was playing in the background as little Horace exploded on the bush before him. Horace hadn't thought of any of that in so long. The memories hit him so hard and so quickly he gasped and shook his head. He really had believed he killed those memories when his father was killed. He was sure of it. Now here he was and suddenly remembering all of it again. All those years without all those horrible memories. All those years without having to remember what his mother's face looked like when his father would make love to it. Now he remembered all of it so completely. Horace now understood why he had kept seeing a dingy caravan. He knew now why he was having flashes of blood-soaked carpets. Horace understood exactly why he loved the way he loved his ladies. He was his father's son. Horace also realized he was back to the present moment again. After several moments of shaking his head and blinking, Horace wiped his face that was suddenly dripping with sweat. Horace noticed the memories must have all taken only moments because his favorite song was still playing. He sang along with the song, I'm your night prowler. Break down your door, I'm your night prowler. Crawling across the floor. I'm the night prowler. Make a mess out of you. Yes, I will. Horace looked at his lady's house. And I'm telling this to you, there ain't nothing you can do. He laughed with lust and dark thought filling his mind. He knew who he was now. He knew what he had to do and why he was so good at it. That was chapter 21 of The Bedtime Killer by Loren Malloy. That's me. Now, if you're enjoying this book, remember you can get it through Amazon in paperback and Kindle, along with my 20 plus other books. And when you're ready, check out chapter 22. I'll see you for that next.